Okay, viewers, I'm on a roll tonight, so same top. I'm doing 3 videos tonight. It'll probably take me till Thursday morning to get them all loaded. Former White House Chief of Staff John Kelly, General John Kelly, just joined a board of the conglomerate that operates the largest facility for migrant children. Pardon me, I'm reading my notes. There's an article on Bloomberg about it, so I'll try to remember to post the link if I forget. Just Google John Kelly Bloomberg detention centers or something. You'll get it. Anyways, the largest facility for migrant children. The company is Caliburn, Caliburn, Caliburn International. It's a facility in Homestead, Florida. They have been doing a lot of strategic decisions for profiting off the cruel detention of detaining immigrant children, right? The facility is expanding. There's 2,500 children in that one facility alone, ages 13 to 17. So these are teenagers. So I have a few questions just from that standpoint. Like, what happens when they turn 18? What happens? Do they just turn them loose in the U.S. and their parents have already been sent back overseas? Do they deport them when they turn 18? What happens to them when they turn 18? So from that standpoint, I want to look at it. This company, Caliburn International, is also affiliated with the company DC Capital Partners. It's a private equity firm. It's the umbrella corporation for Caliburn International. They are leveraging Washington insiders to win contracts for these detention facilities. Former Deputy of Defense Inspector General and a high-ranking military officer are also mentioned in the article that was an advisor to Trump during his first few months as president, have also been put working with the company. So they are trying to leverage Washington insiders to get more contracts. These contracts to run the facilities, there's also a facility in Texas, as we know. They were given $340 million to expand the facility in Florida. $340 million of our taxpayer money that went to expand the facility in Florida in a no bid phase. So they got the contract to detain, to do the detention center in a no bid operation. So it wasn't allowed to be bid on by anyone else. So they're using their corporate insiders in DC to get these no bid contracts. So I'm disgusted. And we're going to look at it. First, I want to look at General John Kelly. What is his intention with these facilities? What's going on with them? Never have trusted him, even though he kind of talks out of both sides of his mouth. Never had a really good feeling about him. So they're making money off of the detention of children. They're making money off the detention of children. And John Kelly is now on the board of directors. How's that going to work for you, John? Yeah, there's rules like they can't go to work for lobbyists, but they can go to work for contractors of the U.S. after they've served in the White House. In the Senate, they can, I think, go work as lobbyists, but when they've served in the White House, they can't go work as lobbyists, but they can go to work for these companies and make big money. John Kelly, what's your intention with these children? What are you steering them to do? The parents, in a way, packed their bags, a hard journey, leaving the children behind, is what I'm feeling off that. I'm feeling like his intention is to separate more children from their parents. Ooh, I'm getting disgusted. I'm just getting disgusted more and more. Bear with me. So here's General Kelly charging in, trying to take charge. Fast and furious. I mean, it just feels like anger. It just feels like angry action. Angry action. His challenge is the young children fighting to be here. Fighting to be here. That's his challenge. It also, this is the spy card. I feel like there's someone inside that's watching what's going on with Kelly and with this company. I feel like there's someone who's actually kind of spying and getting information for us on what's going on. At the root of this, all the battles, the court battles and everything else, the battles with the families, the protesters, when Kelly went to look at this facility before he joined the board of directors, he had to walk through a line of protesters to go in, and they saw him going in. That's mentioned in the article. So his challenge at the root of this is the protesters. Here in the past, this huge loss and grieving that we're all doing for these children, and the parents and the children grieving. It's just grief. It's just grief that I'm feeling off this. The grief of the children, the grief of the parents, the grief of Americans watching what's going on. Crowning the reading, he's got a hidden agenda. He does have a hidden agenda. But near future, his fortune's getting ready to change. Feels like the government and the courts are going to crack down on him, uncover the hidden agenda, the smoke screen that's been put up around these facilities. Yeah, it's interesting. Every now and then, like when I do a health reading, this card for me, I've programmed to represent when someone has issues with their sexual organs, whether male or female. And the reason I programmed this card to represent that for me is because it in the center of this card, it's a very phallic looking symbol, and it almost looks like a condom over a phallic symbol. And what I'm feeling is the sexual energy that they're hiding. So the sexual abuse of these children. Again, justice in the courts here and the government cracking down on Kelly and changing this. I think we're going to learn about more abuse from these kids, or more abuse that's happening to these kids. I'm feeling like Kelly, he's got a new plan that's coming from Trump, from Trump's regime. I'm going to call it regime. It's not. It's no longer a democracy. His regime. to force more immigrants out, to force them to walk away. So he's trying to follow through on that agenda, but he's going to have challenges from the governments and the courts on this. Yeah, the challenge from the courts, because the courts have a different perspective of what's going on with these children. They're going to put an end to this. The courts and the government. Kelly's not going to like it. He's not going to like it because there's going to be some swift action with some of these companies to try to restore some balance to the families that are affected. Yeah, Kelly's working hard on this agenda, and all the dirty tricks that are going on. But he's going to be defeated in this agenda. He's going to be defeated. So I think he's going to have some challenges. So getting that sexual energy off of it, I just want to look at because they are not keeping records of what kids belong with what parents. They're not getting them reconnected with their families. I just want to look again. Is there sex trafficking going on with these detention centers? And will it come to light? Yeah, I'm feeling like the kids, like even though this particular facility's 13 to 17-year-olds, I'm feeling energy of that they have younger siblings they're separated from that are in different places and they don't know where they're at. And I'm feeling that loss, that feeling of worrying about their siblings. I feel like in particular the older children, when the parents were sent away, thought, okay, we'll take care of our siblings. We'll act as parents, for the younger ones. But they've been separated from them. The younger ones aren't in there with them. There's some swift action going on. There's definitely some swift action going on with these children. These children having offers they don't want to accept, divine discontent. The challenge is to move them around, is what I'm getting. The challenge is how to move them around. Without people detecting that they're moving them around. So they are trying to move them around, but the challenge is how to move them around secretly. Trump's at the root of this. Temperance, they're trying to keep it quiet. They're trying to keep it quiet as they're moving these kids around. They're trying to keep it quiet. Temperance in the past, recent past. Temperance, or star card, sorry. Star card, not temperance. Yeah, it's really interesting. Crowning the reading, I'm feeling Putin's energy on this. Um, I hate to keep saying that Russia's connected to so many different things, but that's the energy I'm feeling, so I just have to go with it. That there's a Putin connection to these children and what's happening, that it's something that Trump has talked about with Putin. A cruel thing to do with these children. Again, trying to keep it quiet, temperance, trying to keep it quiet, trying to get away with it, trying to get away with it. Near future, they're going to be in waiting mode, but it's waiting on money. It's waiting on money. So as they're trying to move these kids around, it's like they're waiting on money to pay for these kids. That tells me that there is some child trafficking involved here. Here's the children. This tells me it's also been going on a long time. The courts are going to get involved in this. They're going to try to block this. They're going to block a lot of what's going on with these children. Yeah, it feels like through this children, like there's money laundering going on, even with the funds that are made off of these children. We're going to hear about it. There are agreements that are going to come out. There's going to be a huge, I'm feeling just huge explosion on this cover up. It's going to cause anxiety not only for the people involved, but it's going to cause a lot of anxiety for us who care about these children. All the details of the work are going to come out. Yeah, all the dirty tricks, sword of truth sitting right on top of it. That's disturbing. That's just disturbing. So in our little healing circle that we have going on this channel, it's not little anymore. I think there's well over 1,000 people that are in our healing circle from all over the world. Let's just put these children in our healing circle and protect them and bring them some healing. I want to ask, what is happening to the children when they're like 17 years old? What is happening to them when they turn 18? It's kind of like our foster system here. It's horrible. Like, a lot of people take in foster kids because they get money from it. There are some people who take in foster kids for the right reason, because they want to foster and help them have a loving home. But there are foster kids that as soon as they age out, they're dumped on the streets when they turn 18. And a lot of times they don't have their birth certificate. They don't have a social security card. They don't have a driver's license. They don't have a way to validate anything, their existence, to get a job even, much less try to go to school or something, or get an apartment. So what I'm feeling is it's kind of similar to that with these 16, 17-year-old kids in these detention centers. When they age out, let's just see what happens to them. Are they given U.S. citizenship, or are they just deported back, or are they just dumped on the streets, homeless, and then preyed upon? Here's the White House. They've got plans for what happens to them. You know, in a personal reading, this would show me happy home or marriage. It's a card about marriage or celebrations, structure, having a happy home. I'm not feeling that. I'm just feeling White House on that. It's interesting, all these kings and queens showing up in this, nothing about the children. Not even pages that would show me like young adults. There is a plan for these children. The challenge is money. Again, it's always about money. The challenge is moneyed propositions. The challenge is where the money is coming from for what they're doing with these kids. At the root of this, I do feel like there's investigators looking into this King of Wands. The King of Wands always feels very benevolent to me, very caring and healing. So it does feel like there's wands to me are also about creativity and making plans. It does feel like someone is investigating and looking into what is going on with this. In the past, all the moving around of the kids and not knowing who belongs to who, and just their lost identities is what I'm hearing. Their lost identities. Crowning the reading, they've been victorious in this. Here's Putin again in the near future. Something with Russia with these kids. Like the challenge of the money coming from Russia for these kids. Like I feel like these kids are the plan and what they're doing is coming from Putin. Nancy Pelosi feels like she's on top of it, looking at it. Investigators again going into action with the courts. So where this is investigators planning, looking into, investigating, this feels like when they go into action with the courts. That's my Robert Mueller card. Also, I don't feel like Mueller's looking at that aspect, but it could come out because of the Mueller report in investigating more with Russia. It could come out as something that comes to light more because of the light Mueller has shined on Russia's involvement in our country. That's what I'm kind of feeling. And the money behind it. The money behind it. We're going to hear a lot more about this, and there's going to be court cases about this. Someone's going to be put in defense mode over these kids. It's going to get really blown up in a big way as it needs to be to show what is going on. Sadly, not soon enough. Same cards as the last reading. All the anxiety. All the details of how they've worked out their scheme, their plan with this, and the dirty tricks. Yeah, Sword of Truth is going to come out because of all the discontent of what we're all feeling about what's happening with these kids, and Strength is coming out. Um, it's interesting. I'm not getting any page cards to tell me what's happening with these kids, but what I'm getting is that the government and the investigators are going to bring light to it. Um, it does involve overseas. It does involve overseas. And big money. And big money. Trump's the star in this scheme. Trump is the star in this scheme. Trump has been celebrating over people profiting from the destitution of these families and these children. Um, I feel like with these young adults, like they're just destitute. I'm not seeing it. It feels like part of the government plan, part of the court plans that'll be put into places. What does happen to these 17-year-olds when they hit 18? Um, that's what I'm feeling. But it's interesting that I'm not getting any pages. So I'm going to leave it there. Um, Rather a long reading. I would have expected to see some pages showing up to represent these young people. It's almost like the kids are growing up too fast because they're being put through so much, so they're not even showing up as young adults, as young adults would show up in a regular reading. But anyway, thank you for watching. We'll check in on this a little bit further down the road, because I just feel like something is going to really open up soon on this. We'll check in and see what's going on. Thanks for watching. Bye.